Hey everyone, J-Rod Plays here, and today I'm going to make a new light guide for those of us who are just getting started in the game that are trying to get into the Festival of the Lost and are actually just straight lost, right? The event can be a little bit complicated in the way it layers things on, and if you don't know how that works and how the devs kind of intended you to go through this event, you're going to spend a lot of time doing one thing and then finding out you could have doubled up and done something else to complete the event in the most efficient way possible. And I know a lot of people can't just sit here and play the game for 12 hours straight for a couple days and knock it out like I did. I straight just knocked out this event in the last 2 days so that way I could bring you this guide so that you can kind of chill and realize that you don't need to farm, you don't need to do any of the exploits. They've already patched some of the good stuff to get spectral pages, and the candy is actually pretty easy to get with kind of a candy farm once you actually get to the point where you need candy. In the beginning, I wouldn't worry at all about trying to farm candy because everything that you do is going to give you candy as long as you wear the mask, which is the main thing. Please don't forget to wear the mask, especially if you switch builds using the build crafting system and then you don't have your mask on. So don't forget to wear your mask. That's the number one thing, is always have your mask on. Level it up, spend the resources for it, so that way you're not hurting yourself whenever you're going from, if you're going into a raid or if you're going into a dungeon. You still want to have your max out light. You still want to have a good build, so get your mask that you like. You're going to get multiple drops of it. Find the one that you like. You can put any skin that you like on it at that point, and keep that mask on for the remainder of the event until you guys are done. Now, the way that you want to start out this is you're going to go ahead and you're going to speak to Eva Levante. Eva Levante is going to give you the quest to get started. Once Eva Levante gives you the quest and you go through and do one of the lost sectors, you can actually come back to Eva Levante and then you can unlock all of the things that you can do in the event, which you'll see here as I have pulled up, called the event challenges. So you'll see that you start off with Cryptozoologist. This one is to use manifested pages to restore chapter in the Tales of the Forgotten. That's going to be a book right next to Eva Levante. It's on a little pedestal. It's right next to where you launch the event from inside of the tower. From there, you're going to actually come back regularly to deposit your converted pages. You'll take your pages and you'll turn them in to these book pieces, and as you turn them into the book pieces, you'll see that I get additional chapters in the book, and then once you max out the book, you're done with that part of the event. Now, the Cryptozoologist, Bookworm 1, 2, and 3, those are going to get done no matter what as you go through the event and do those, so I wouldn't focus on those. So you're going to want to start off with things like Heads Will Roll, with Mystery Meat, with Horrific Haunts, and I'm going to go through each one of these and show you how to do these. So Bookworm, of course, 1, 2, and 3 is just turning in up to 33 manifested pages to unlock all of the books. Each time you do that, you'll progress through. Once you hit 11, you'll hit here. Once you hit 22, and then once you're at 33, you'll get the different rewards from those. Now, Heads Will Roll. That one's going to just get done on its own. That one's defeating headless ones. That one's to defeat a lot of headless ones. Once you actually go through and do the normal missions, as I'll show you here, you'll end up getting that done as it is. You're going to actually do one called Happy Hunting Ground, which is going to require you to do 18 haunted sectors. That one will, by the time you get done, complete. Heads Will Roll. Candy Corner will also complete as you're doing these things, and if it doesn't, I'll show you how to get it completed. Horrific Haunts, you're going to only have to do that one time. That one's actually easily done. You can't fail the Legend Lost Sectors, so you can easily go in there and get that done, even if you're getting your butt kicked. This one here, you're going to just save your candy, and every time you get 1300 candy, you're going to revisit Eva and buy a mystery grab bag. You have to buy 3 of these. The pumpkin pelting, that one just get a bunch of grenade launcher kills. I did that with a special grenade launcher, so you can do that with either a special or heavy grenade launcher. Auto, same thing. I was actually using Monte Carlo quite a bit in my build, and so this is one that I got done pretty easily on its own. The sniper station, I was running a rapid fire sniper, and I was actually just going for headshots on enemies or even body shots if they were close enough. This one completed actually pretty quickly. You can complete this one while you're trying to do your seasonal activities and also while you're trying to do your ritual activities, and I'll show you that as well. This one, Third Satcha Charm. Graviton Lance is the way to go in this case. It is such a good weapon. It's been buffed. It's ridiculous because everything is really close together and the enemy density is really close on a lot of these. I did this while either doing the Lost Sectors or actually running strikes as part of getting one of the objectives done. For the Occult Ritual, this is the one that's going to take you the longest. It's actually 4% per event, and as you'll see here, you're looking at trying to do a strike, so 100 divided by 4 is going to be 25 strikes. In this case, you can also do Crucible matches and Gambit matches. And so here this says complete Crucible and Gambit matches as well. You can do Gambit if you hate Crucible, and that'll give you credit towards this. Or you can do Crucible, and that'll double dip because you're doing Crucible here and Crucible here. So this will knock that out for you. So if you're, for example, playing Trials of Osiris, those are really fast matches. That'll rack those up easily for you here. I believe this was like between 8 and 10, depending on if you won or lost on this one here. And so it was actually a pretty good progress for me on Gambit because I was running Gambit to try to finish out some of my seasonal challenges that I had for Gambit that I hadn't kind of done. I've been neglecting them. And so I just did Gambit, not necessarily because I hate Crucible, but because I had Gambit seasonal challenges, and then that helped stack onto this. And then this one, I didn't really feel like doing the Crucible. The Trials of Osiris this week didn't have a weapon that I was interested in, so I just did strikes, and I was knocking strikes out in about 10 minutes. And so if you're considering, you're looking at 250 minutes, so you just take your 250 and divide that by 60 minutes, you're looking at about 5 hours of grinding roughly, and that's, with waiting time in between everything. And so that's the way that I did this. And the reason why this is important is because when you're doing your strikes, you're going to get 4 to 5 pages from these strikes. And so again, if you're looking at 25 pages times 4, that's 100 pages. That's going to almost get you done. And then you're not really going to have to farm up too many more pages once that's the case. Also, that's not including any raids that you might do, any dungeons that you might do, just any offhand activity that you may decide to do. You're also going to get pages for Gambit if you don't forget to wear your mask. I forgot to wear my mask a couple times, so that put me behind a little bit. And so that's the way to go, is to just do the Gambit matches first, Crucible matches first. Those are going to stack up with this. Once this is done, then you're going to go run your strikes over and over again. You're going to stack up all your Spectral pages all the way until you get close to 75 pages. That's your cap. Once you have 75 pages, then you can go back and then you can do all of the lost sectors just back to back to back to back. You're going to get maximum 15 per lost sector, so you're looking at 4 lost sectors to get you 60, and then 5 lost sectors will get you the 75. So you're going to run 5 lost sectors in a row to dump all of your pages, go in there, buy as many books as you can, and then go back and start doing your strikes again. And then once you complete your strikes, you should technically have enough pages to finish out and get your entire book collection done. If not, I'll show you how to get some at the end of the video. Now with Hocus Focus, all you got to do is just focus one eerie engram. What I did is I just went in there and I bought a gun, and then that did that for me there. Once you have an eerie engram, which you get from the lost sectors, it's a random drop from the lost sectors, you'll go to Eva Levante, you'll go into her inventory, you're going to click on her inventory. That's going to take you into a section where you can focus, and then from there you just click on whatever you like that's part of the focusing setup. Again, I picked one of the weapons just to make sure I got progress, and then that gave me this one here. Happy Hunting Ground. While you're doing this loop between getting a bunch of ritual pages and then dumping them, and getting a bunch of ritual pages and then dumping them, you're going to finish this one out no problem. And of course, by the time I got done with my 18th, I had just enough pages to finish out my books. So it's a good tight progress meter between filling out the book and getting your haunted sectors done. I had to do one extra haunted sector because I got screwed over by a few people who killed the boss too soon and who didn't allow me to get all 15 nights for that particular lost sector. And I'll talk a little bit more about how to do a lost sector properly and what's in good form when you're doing a lost sector, how to get all 15 and make sure you get credit for all 15 in a moment. And then Ghost Rider, of course, once you complete all the challenges, Ghost Rider is going to be the final one that you're going to get. That's going to get you an alloy. That's going to get you everything that you need. And then you're going to come back here and you're going to end up also finishing up these to get to the Ghost Rider setup. So you're going to click all these first, then go to Ghost Rider. This one's going to give you a nice ship, the Bookworm 3. And so you'll see as I'm going through what the requirement was, and then how I turned it in, and what the requirement was, and then how I turned it in. And again, this is just essentially the main way that you're going to be doing this. Just to recap, you're going to start out with your Crucible or Gambit, then you're going to go into strikes. Once you have enough Spectral pages, up to 75, once you get close, you're going to dump them by doing the lost sectors. You're going to want to do at least 4 legend lost sectors. I don't know if it's me just getting lucky or if it's designed that way where each time I did a legend lost sector for the first time it was a new lost sector for me, which helped me finish the quest itself. The quest itself is going to require you to do the 4 legend lost sectors. Once you do the 4 legend lost sectors, one of each of the kind depending on the planet, so then you're going to have your EDZ, I believe, Nessus, there was one on the moon, and then there's one on Europa. Once you get all 4 of those done, you're going to end up coming back and you're going to turn in the quest, and that's going to allow you to start doing your focusing. And for a new light, focusing is really important. And I want to step on that as far as the way the focusing goes, because if you're a new light and you go to Eva Levante, she's going to actually have a way for you guys to actually catch up on getting the gear. So as you can see here, I'm inside of Eva's inventory, and I'm going to go into the focusing tab by right-clicking. That's going to take me into the focusing tab, and if I had an area engram, these would all be lit up, as you can see me highlighting them. The first one is going to be how you're going to get your memento. Every maybe 4 to 5 turn-ins, you're going to get a memento once you get your first memento completed, and that's going to be going over how to do the secret, and I'll cover that as well, how to do the secret quest to get your mementos going. The second one is going to be specifically for weapons, so if you're looking for weapons but you don't want to spend the candy, the additional candy to get the specific weapon that you want, this is the way to do that. Then there's going to be the 4 weapons. The only 2 that are worth anything are the macabre and then the horror story. The macabre is going to be great because it's going to be a really nice, kind of like a really nice handling, hard-hitting sniper rifle for Crucible. And then the horror story is going to be kind of similar in the sense that it duels really well. It actually holds up against some of the best rifles and it's some of the mid-range weapons that are in there, including pulse rifles. As long as you're in that nice mid-range, you're going to find that horror story is not that bad when you have the right perks for PvP as well. But what I really want to focus on for the new lights is going to be the exotic engrams. And if you right-click on these, you can see what are available. And all you have to do is come in here with an eerie engram, drop 2500 candy and an eerie engram, and then boom, you have your exotic, and you can keep doing it over and over again until you get the exact exotics that you want. Again, you can see what's available here, so you know ahead of time what you're looking at getting. And then once you have that exotic and that god roll exotic, you can then really spend your materials in getting that one leveled up, and you can burn the old one, getting some of your materials back if you're replacing one. And this is a really nice way for people to catch up and to try to get the god roll versions of those armor pieces. Now you can only get armor pieces, of course, that you've unlocked, but these are going to be the way to get the best version of those armor pieces for you guys. You still want to go do the Lost Sectors, and you still want to go do the Vex Strike Force to get your unlocks done. And you have a Discord for the Vex Strike Force, and then for the Lost Sectors, of course, you could do Kyber's Corner. That's going to be the way that I keep up with them is Kyber's. You can see what the rotation is going to be like for the week, and then you can go and decide, okay, this day I want to log in and just grind it out until I get the armor piece that I'm missing. And so that's going to be the best boon for new lights, is that exotic decoding, because you don't have to spend a whole ton of materials to decode. You just have to spend candy, which is just an easy consumable to get rid of. It doesn't hurt at all. There's plenty of it lying around. And then only 1 eerie engram, which drop pretty frequently as you're doing your lost sectors. You can get them from legend, you can get them from regular, it doesn't matter. The legend has a higher chance of dropping them though, so if you have friends that you want to get in there with and go and do the legend and knock them out in a coordinated fashion, then I would recommend doing that. If not, just go into normal and run it again and again until you get your eerie engrams. And so that's going to be how you get the eerie engrams. Now I'm going to cover the memento. So for the memento, as you can see here, you're going to go to Season of the Witch, and you're going to go into the second tab, the General tab. At the very bottom, there's going to be a new secret triumph called Twilight, and it's going to have question marks for all 3 of these things. Now, what the first one is you're going to come into your inventory as you're going through and completing the seasonal challenges and the event challenges. You're going to get different mask options, and one of those mask options that you get early on is the Clovis Spray mask. Now with the Clovis Spray mask on, you're going to go into the Cosmodrome and you're going to choose the strike for the Fallen Saber. It's going to be a normal strike. You actually don't have to set any specific difficulty. You don't have to go in there as a Nightfall or anything like that. Just go into Fallen Strike normally, burn through it. Once you kill the boss with that mask on, it's going to actually check that box for you. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to switch out the mask, and now you're going to go to the Nimbus mask, which you should have into the next step. And with Nimbus, all you have to do is go to Neomuna, and you go to any area in Neomuna. Right now, for example, the Lemming Harbor for me is the event, so I can go into here and I can kill a bunch of Vex. I can go into the Zephyr Concourse, where there's a public event, and kill a bunch of Cabal. As long as you kill 100 enemies on Neomuna wearing the Nimbus mask, that's going to complete the second objective. And so now that you've got the first 2 objectives done, now we're going to get into the third objective. And so for the third objective, you're going to be far along pretty much in your quests, because you're going to have to unlock the Tormentor Mask, and the Tormentor Mask takes a little bit to unlock. Once you've unlocked the Tormentor Mask, though, you're going to go into a Legend Lost Sector, and I would recommend going into one by yourself with people that are just kind of randomly queued. So that way you're not messing up people in a fire team if you go into the LFG. So you're just going to go in there on your own with the matchmaking on, and you're going to want to get a bunch of finisher kills. You don't have to worry about anything else. You're just going to get in there. You're going to get your enemies weakened. You're going to get your 25 finisher kills. Not all of them are going to count, so keep that in mind. Sometimes your teammates are going to yank them from you as you're getting the finisher. They're going to shoot them. So you got to get these clean finisher kills. Once you get your 25 finisher kills, then you can then at that point focus on finishing the lost sector. But that's going to get you the final secret. You're going to turn that in. You're going to go to Eva, and then you're going to pick up your memento. Once you pick up your memento, then you'll start turning in your eerie engrams. So I'd recommend trying to save your eerie engrams, except for the one that you use to focus with, so that way you get the triumph. I'm going to recommend saving them, because if you have eerie engrams built up after you've gotten the first memento to drop, then you'll get future mementos to drop, so that you can put it on more of your crafted weapons before the event is over. And so that's how you get the secret done. Okay, let's talk about how to complete the lost sectors and how to do that in a way that you're helping your teammates rather than hurting your teammates. So what I went with was Graviton Lance and a fusion rifle in my primary, and a machine gun for my heavy. And you can choose kind of whatever loadout you like. It's not really that specific if you're doing it on normal. If you're doing it on legend, then you definitely want to make sure that you have one of your strongest loadouts, whatever your strongest build is. I was going with a void build with Devour so that I could stay alive. I was using Monte Carlo, a grenade launcher, and my machine gun. And I was really relying on my machine gun to mow down ads and things when I was needing health. And then I was relying on my primary, my Monte Carlo, and my abilities to keep myself alive there. In the regular lost sector, when I was finishing out my pulse rifle, I was running the Graviton Lance, and man, it was doing work. The Graviton Lance itself was just clearing out whole groups of ads on its own, just with its proc from the special ability. When you get a precision kill, you end up getting a bunch of small projectiles that come out of the enemy that will then create more projectiles when they kill an enemy. And so what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you're standing in the summoning circle to bring out the headless one. Then you're going to tag the headless one with a few shots, and you're going to move to the next summoning circle if there is one. If not, stay there, use your abilities, and I would use the fusion to burn them down. So fusion them down, for example, and then move on to the next set. Now, what your goal is to do is to always make sure you're getting damage on these headless ones, because if you don't damage them and somebody else shoots and kills them before you get there, you're not going to get credit. So you want to make sure that you're saving your super for when it gets hectic and there's 3 of them out, to get your kill on the one that's either far from you or the one that you're on, so that you can move to the next one and get a tag on every single one of the headless, so that way you're getting full credit. And then once you get into the second section where you're killing headless and you have a boss out, that boss is going to go into a shielded mode. The only way to break that shield is to kill the headless and get these little pumpkin bombs that fall from the bosses. Those little pumpkin bombs are going to knock out 1/3 of the shield each time, so you have to hit the boss 2 or 3 times. Actually, now that I think about it, it might be 2 times. But if I remember, I was doing 3 hits on them. And so from there, when you get to that last section where you have 3 headless ones spawning and the boss is still alive, you're going to want to just toss those pumpkins out into the middle of nowhere. Because if you allow those pumpkins to stay, then your teammates are going to knock the shield off of the boss in the final phase, and they're going to kill that boss before you get your headless ones killed. Now, that's for people who don't know what's going on. You're not going to be that person. You're going to throw the pumpkins away, and you're going to make sure that that boss doesn't die until all 3 of the headless dies, and it says you've killed 15 headless ones. Then you can use whatever remaining pumpkins are available to do damage to the boss, and you can bring the boss's shield down. But the real reason that you're throwing the pumpkins away is so that your teammates don't just kill the boss before you get all the headless ones killed. And so that's the way you do it with good form, is you make sure that you're killing up to 15 total headless. That way people get their maximum pages converted, and you're not going to be the one that's doing damage to the boss and killing the boss while everybody else is working on headless. You're also not going to be the one that's not standing in the ritual circles summoning the bosses and moving around after tagging them a few rounds. And the reason why you tag them again and move on is so that you get credit, and then you move on so that your teammates can come and kill them and get credit as well. So be a good teammate, get the ritual circle done, get the tag in, kill them if nobody else is around and nobody else is helping you, and then move on to the next one. And so that's how you complete the lost sector, in a way in which you're cooperative, you're getting your 15, they're getting their 15 hopefully, and everybody's leaving that lost sector happy and not frustrated and having to do an additional lost sector like I had to do, because I had teammates that didn't do that. They killed the boss while I was still trying to kill and deal with one of the headless. So that's the main way that I would complete the lost sector. Legend lost sectors are going to work the same way. You're going to have to want to stick with your teammates because those headless on the Legend Lost sectors will one-shot you with the slam. They can two-shot you with their fire ability, so run fire resistance. And make sure you're running a build that you get your health back, or you can stay alive, or you can drop a well. Those things that you're going to want to do quickly because you're going to take a lot of damage in a short amount of time, and the more you're on the floor, the more headless that you're missing. And even though you can't fail the Legend Lost sectors when everybody dying, you still want to make sure you're getting in there and getting as many headless done as possible so you can get the most loot as possible, because the whole idea is to try and get loot, try and get those engrams, and by having a higher count, that's going to help you get more. And so let's move on to the next section. Now what I'm going to cover is I'm going to cover how to farm each of the specific resources. So the first one is going to be spectral pages. Now with the spectral pages, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to farm them by going to lost sectors on the EDZ. And so from there, you're going to just load up an EDZ. You're going to go and you're going to open up your map and you're going to look for Trossland. And you're going to want to farm the atrium. The way the atrium is, it's very short. You just go down the pathway. You're going to run past all the enemies to the final boss. You're going to run up to the boss. You're going to hit him with the super. You're going to hit him with your heavy. You're going to open the chest and you're going to get one spectral page. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but you can do this in under a minute. And you can do this over and over again. Every 3 or 4 times you do this, though, you're not going to get a spectral page. So if you'd like, you could then go into the Terminus East, and you can turn to the Widow's Walk, and so you get 2 from each. So you can do 2 from the Atrium, 2 from the Terminus East, and 2 from the Widow's Walk. Basically just running past all the enemies, killing the boss, opening the chest, and then reloading into the landing zone, and then doing it all over again. And so you do that maybe about 15 times. That way you have your maximum of spectral pages, and then you go do a lost sector, whether it be legend or a regular lost sector, and then you can keep doing that over and over again until you get your spectral pages caught up to where you can finish out the book. And then let's move on to the candy. Now for the candy, you're going to load up an Embaro engine instance. And the Embaro engine, of course, is going to be on the helm to the right side. When you land, you're going to go up the lift. At the top of the lift, you're just going to hop down and you're going to activate the ritual circle so that you can go up a second lift. Go all the way up to the top and go to where you start the first encounter of the Embaro engine and then run past it. There's going to be a door that allows you to proceed through the Embaro engine by hitting your interact button. From there, you're going to run up some stairs, and that's going to give you like kind of an obstacle course to clear. Once you clear that obstacle course, you're going to be on the second floor. Now, once you get to the second floor, there's going to be a few options for you. There's going to be a portal. There's going to be the second challenge, which is going to be the challenge of strength. You're going to want to pass that up, and you're going to look for a door that's got kind of some flowers growing in front of it. It's got kind of a red hue. So that's the door that you're going to want to go in. Once you get into that door, there's going to be another set of obstacles to go through. These are a little bit easier to get through than the first set. You just time it as you open the door and run straight through. And then you're going to get to the third floor, which is going to be the final test. I believe that's the cunning test, if I remember correctly. And that's going to be up some stairs, and you'll then see the area where you're standing in a cylinder of spinning spikes of death. Go ahead and hit the ritual to start that up. And so you're going to want hard light. The reason being is it's easy to switch between the 3 elements. You can just stock out the 3 elements, but this is a lot easier. With hard light, you're going to shoot the second door there on the left. You're going to shoot the symbol that matches the door that spawns behind you on your right. Second one, you're going to be in solar. That's going to be the door from middle right. You're going to shoot that one there, as you see me doing here. And the third one is going to be hidden. Savathun's going to laugh. What that means is she's hiding it. So you're going to move up to the very middle door, and you're going to shoot the void symbol, which is going to send you back. Just be careful to stand still when you hit the doors or you'll fall. Now the final one, you're going to go back to solar, and that's going to open up a door all the way to your right when you shoot the symbol that's kind of looking at you 45 degrees that you see me shoot here. I'm going to run through it a second time just so you can kind of see exactly again what I'm doing. I'm going to show you the final point where I actually ended up finishing the quest and pretty much finishing the whole thing. This was what's holding me up. You can get 2% each time with the candy. It's like 300 candy roughly, gives you 2%. And so that's going to be the way that I did it. Is I think the last 6% or so I did in here. I just needed about 5% once I finished all of my other objectives on the candy, which again, I wasn't grinding for candy and I forgot my helmet at some times. So you may not even need to do this, but if you're in a situation where you finished everything else in the event and candy is what's holding you back, this is how I'm going to do it. So again, you hit the ritual circle and you're going to look for arc. And the reason I know that is because behind me, if you turn around, you'll see on the wall there's going to be an arc symbol. So second door from the left is going to have an arc on the left, and that's the one you're going to want to shoot. So I'm going to hop into that one. Now I'm going to look second door to the right, switching to solar. and I'm going to go ahead and wait for that one to pop up and shoot the solar above it, which is behind me as well, if you need to know which one you're looking at. And then the third one is going to be directly in front of you, straight ahead. You're going to switch to void. It's going to be right on the wall. It's going to pop up as you land. Going to send you back to the beginning. The final one, you're going to go all the way back to solar, switching twice. It's going to be the one that's at a 45-degree from you there on the left. You're going to shoot that, hop into the door, boom, and you're done. And wait for your candy. And as you see here, I'm going to actually get the candy corner triumph. That's the last thing that I was holding out on. And once I get the candy corner triumph, which is, to me is going to be the puka mask, I'm going to go over and I'm going to do the Ghost Rider, and now I'm done. Boom. I'm completely done with the event. And so that's how I finished the event. This is how you guys should finish the event. I try to make the guide as clear, as concise as possible. If you run into any issues or have any problems or need some additional explanation, just hit me up in the comments and I'd be glad to help everybody out. And thanks very much again for everybody who watches my guides. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much to all my new subscribers, and I'll see you guys in the next guide. A real quick extra that I wanted to add for those who watched all the way to the end, just nice little tips and tricks that I have. First one being a trick, it looks like. Whenever you're on your Warlock and you're wearing your new Festival of the Lost ornaments and you jump up and down, you'll notice that your wings actually flap, which is super cool. And you can see this here. I'm going to actually run over here and get the buff so that I can get some height so that you can see it really clearly, as well as the gold will highlight that. But look at that. That's pretty crazy. They built into the outfit flapping wings whenever you jump, as like you're like a little moth on the way down. Like, that's just so sick. I just wanted to highlight that. The next thing I wanted to cover was for new lights. If you start and you're needing a little bit of a boost, you can actually come to the trees, and in the trees there's going to be actual little triangles that are loot. Those are going to be candy, and so those candy are going to be like in amounts of like 50 to like I think like 200 for the one up on top. You get like 350 total, I believe. And so you just want to run around and you want to collect each tree's loot. And so you'll see here I'm actually using the buff from gaining a guardian rank to get up to the top. You can also do the game where the you don't touch the ground is lava game, and that'll actually get you all the way to the top as well. And once you get to the very top, you're going to get that big 250. So it's actually more like, what was that, like 150 and 250, more like 400 roughly from what I can see here. Oh, nope, there's another one. So like 400 plus 60, so 460. Nice. So there's 460 in this tree. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run all the way across, and I'm going to go to the other tree. And that's why I said trees in the beginning, because it's more than one tree that actually has candy in it. You're going to get candy from above Eva, and you're also going to get candy from the tree that's next to Ikora. And so you just hop up on this one here, same thing. There's going to be 60 there. There's 60 there, so we're at 120. There's another 60, we're at 180. And then boom, another 250. So that's what, 380. That's 430. Nice. So 430 in that tree. And that's going to give you a nice boost to get started with, so that whenever you go and you start turning in engrams, you don't have to worry so much about chasing candy down, and that's also going to give you a boost for the candy corner achievement. And so that's the last thing that I wanted to cover. And now we're going to go ahead and hit to the outro. Oh, actually, I forgot. There is some ghosts that you want to check out. There's some spooky ghosts. If you're brand new, go underneath and follow the route that I just did, and check out these spooky ghosts as we hit the outro. You guys take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.